nicer than ice. The rum is still fine, and so is the wine. So run and come to see the sun. It's Christmas Day. Snow and sleep you'll never meet at Christmas Day.
Stand by. Let's go. Just in case you missed it the first time, we have neither summer nor winter, neither autumn nor spring. We have instead the days when the gold sun shines on the lush green cane fields magnificently. The days when the rain beats like bullets on the roofs and there's no sound but the swish of water in the gullies and trees struggling in the high Jamaica winds. Also, there are the days when leaves fade from off guango trees and the reaped cane fields lie bare and fallow to the sun. But best of all, there are the days when the mango and the logwood blossom, when the bushes are full of the sound of bees and the scent of honey, when the tall grass sways and shivers to the slightest breath of air, when the buttercups have paved the earth with yellow stars, and beauty comes suddenly, and the rains have gone.
We don't have no snow, we don't have no sleigh, but fun we do have at Christmas Day. So run and come to see the sun. It's Christmas Day. Snow and sleep you'll never meet
Let's go, studio.
at Christmas Day.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 22nd day of the 12th and final month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, and the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, as well as the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's been 22 days since the end of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and here's a reminder that come 2022, the Atlantic hurricane season will start on the 1st of May. In the meantime, Jamaica's weather forecasters are reporting that there's a ridge across the Gulf of Mexico. And the ridge, we have told you before, is an elongated area of high pressure in the atmosphere. It's a region with relatively higher heights, a broad region of sinking air or a deep warm air mass will both lead to what is called ridging. Now, since air is often sinking within a ridge, they tend to bring warmer and drier weather. So that's what the significance of the ridge is all about. Now, there's a cold front across the Western Caribbean. A cold front is just one type of weather fronts. During a cold front, the colder air mass moves into the warmer air mass. The cold front is expected to move near Jamaica today and then across the island tomorrow. Expect increased cloudiness and shower activity during this period. This afternoon, expect widely scattered showers across sections of most parishes. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, especially across northern parishes. More in a moment.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
More than 2,000 years ago, the light of a miraculous star brought hope, announcing the birth of Jesus. This Christmas, we can renew that hope by being the star that illuminates others through our good deeds. Visit lighttheworld.org and find simple ideas on how to live the true spirit of Christmas. Light the world with love and be a light in the lives of others.
Steelcraft Limited offers grills, gates, stainless steel rails, hand trunks, and
much more. The staff takes pleasure in extending season's greetings to all customers, wishing you and your family a peaceful season. And as the new year approaches, they look forward to serving you even more. May the spirit of good cheer and love abide in your home this season. From Steelcraft Limited, celebrating 50 years.
Chad Ad Distributors are the island-wide distributors of the popular Maxxis tires, plus Sumitomo, Falcon, and Solidil. For batteries, Mayatsu, AC Vehicles, and Lubricants in Central Canada. Visit us at 87 to 91 First Street, West. Telephone 901 614 4363. Chad Ad Distributors Limited, your place to retire.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Simon Crossfield from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crossfield on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM. No one sleep, you never me at Christmas Day. The beaches are nice, much nicer than I.
Let's go, studio.
The rum is still fine.
It's Army Day in Vietnam, winter solstice holiday in Hong Kong, and Las Posadas has been cancelled in Mexico due to the latest wave of the coronavirus through the variant Omicron. And on that basis, Las Posadas in Mexico has been cancelled. It's usually quite very well supported from people from all over the world, but we have to be mindful. In fact, if you missed the news today with respect to the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus, the health minister this afternoon, Dr. Christopher Tufton, announced that, was it afternoon? No, it was still morning when the announcement was made. The health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says the Omicron variant of COVID-19 is here. And by virtue of evidence and information shared between the UK and Jamaica, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, if you're just tuning in, has, and if you haven't heard yet, has confirmed that a case of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has been detected in a traveler from Jamaica. The traveler, who had a short stay at a local resort, tested positive for the variant upon her return to the United Kingdom. That's the news, the big news coming out of Jamaica today. Let's come back and tell you more after we give you a variety of introductions to today's program by virtue of the languages. Hoy es miércoles, el 22 de diciembre 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. Come back. C'est mercredi le 22 décembre 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez, que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. Come back. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 22nd of December, 2021, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Come back. It's the 356th day of 2021, which means we're 3 days away from Christmas Day and 9 days to go before 2022. What kind of year has 2021 been for you? Would love to hear from you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad. Let's greet those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point, this is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Depending on the nature of your device, downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States and the United Kingdom. Those in the United States who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook in the search box atop the page. Type DERVANMALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, you can also call us via WhatsApp. That number, once again, 876-365-3346. Even as we welcome those who have already joined us. Connie Scarlett Notice in Florida, welcome. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon to you. Tony Thomas in London is also tuned in. Thank you very much, Tony Thomas, for tuning in to both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Other messages coming in from Norman Hines in St. Thomas, who says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Norman Hines. Hello to Ambleton Ray. He says, greetings, brother man Dervan. Mark me present this up. Medea Ateki in the education, inspiration, and information. Large up yourselves. Thank you very much, Ambleton Ray. Thank you for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. We have an eye-opening discussion coming up in just a moment, in the next 3 to 6 minutes or so. Stand by for that, and the timing is most appropriate at a time when we're consuming and are about to consume a lot of Christmas treats, whether we're talking about the ham and the gungo peas and the rice and the sorrel and the Christmas cakes, otherwise known as black cake or fruit cake. Yeah, you don't want to miss the discussion we have coming up on as it relates to just generally how we approach this business of taking care of ourselves, how mindful we are of certain lifestyle practices, and how the implications of these lifestyle practices on our future, on our health. Stand by for that. In the meantime, a couple of messages. Hello to Lady D, Diana Taylor in Central Florida. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. And hello to a couple of people who came by to say hi over the weekend or over the past week in New York. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you all. Thank you for your continued listenership and support. We met some new friends as well, like the past students of Rosemont Primary School in Linstead, St. Catherine, and they have big plans. In fact, they're already rolling out plans for Rosemont, and we'll hear more whenever we get around to featuring them on this program, the both sides of the story, or the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online. So there's a lot more to come. And we also want to say good afternoon to Beverly Nichols, who is quite an ardent listener to this program. We had the pleasure of interviewing her on Monday afternoon from their offices at 12510 Kew Gardens in New York. And we have a lot more to say on these matters. But first, let's take the break and come back with more right here on Both Sides of the Story.
What fun we do have.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Biomedical Caledonia Medical Laboratory extends season's greetings to all Jamaicans. We are grateful for your loyal support as we continue to provide the best clinical laboratory services.
Stand by for a message.
Visit
Studio,
Caledonia
stand
Avenue
by.
or any of our 54
Sending you a
collection
message in a
centers
moment.
island-wide. Call 876-926-4191. Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year. Biomedical Caledonia Medical Laboratory Limited, the first accredited medical laboratory in Jamaica. The National Irrigation
Check
Commission
WhatsApp
Limited encourages
right
efficient irrigation
now,
practices and responsible
studio.
use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation making the difference in agriculture. Save big this Christmas as you shop for yourself, family, and friends at J.N. Patel and Company. Get a wide range of household and haberdashery items, a large selection of beautiful spreads, sheet sets, window, kitchen, and shower curtains, bathroom sets, area rugs, and much more. Don't miss this great opportunity for savings. J.N. Patel, 98 Orange Street, Kingston, and Patel Bargain Center, 44 Main Street, Macon, Clarendon. Telephone 922-2959. For every year, every Christmas, Maurice Foster has hosted the #1 Christmas show on radio, Christmas with Foss. This program will be aired once again on Christmas Day, Saturday, December
Both at the
25,
same
from
time,
2:30
guys.
p.m. to 5 p.m. on Power 106 FM. Foss will play your favorite Christmas songs, accept your greetings, and do giveaways from his bag of goodies. That's Christmas with Foss, brought to you by KFC. KFC's Festive Feast. Enjoy a delicious family 12 bucket from KFC. Alice Duaney, the Electrical People. J and Back will help you find a way. Shada Distributors Limited, home of the Maxis Tire, your place to retire. And ICWI, serving you is all we do. Christmas Day.
Okay, we're good to go. Ready, studio?
Much nicer than ice. The rum is still
Our
fine,
guests on.
and so is the wine. So run and come to see your son. It's Christmas Day. Snow and sleep, you'll never meet at Christmas
Let's go.
Day.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program. Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls a little later on, but listen up now as we get ready for our guests in this segment on both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's say good afternoon and welcome to Director of the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CARE, at the UWI Mona, and co-principal investigator for the LIFE project, Professor Marshall Tullereed. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Thanks for the invitation to be on your program.
It's a pleasure to have you. This is a very critical project you're embarking on, and we're anxious to share with our listeners and viewers at home and abroad. And also online, we have Joette McKenzie, study coordinator of the LIFE project. Good afternoon to you, Joette McKenzie. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dervan. I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. Listeners, a quick snapshot of what this is all about. The Caribbean Institute of Health Research, CARE, at the UWI Mona, will be undertaking one of the largest cohort studies ever done in Jamaica between now and 2023 to identify risk factors of stroke, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and cancer among Caribbean people. The study is to be carried out by CARE, that's the acronym for Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CAIHR, in collaboration with the Fox Chase Cancer Center of Philadelphia, USA, and City of Hope, California, USA, with grant funding from the United States National Institutes of Health. And the rest we will leave to our guests to explain and present. As we said, we have online Professor Marshall Tullereed, Director of CARE at UWI, as in the Caribbean Institute for Health Research at UWI Mona, and a co-principal investigator for the LIFE project, and with him, Joette Mackenzie, study coordinator for the LIFE project. Well, let's get the background first of all, Professor Marshall Tollereed. How did this project come about in the first place?
Well, I mean, it's an idea that we've had for some time because the Caribbean Institute for Health Research has worked with the Ministry of Health, doing a number of surveys, national surveys. You may have heard about the Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Surveys. And these surveys are usually done to look at how common or what the burden of particular conditions in the island are, particularly chronic diseases. So, we have looked at how common hypertension, diabetes, how common is stroke, and a number of these illnesses. But one of the pieces that we have been able to examine is what is driving what we're seeing in terms of every year when we've done this survey, we've seen an increase in the number of persons who are having these conditions. We've seen an increase in the number of persons who are overweight or, having habits that may put them at risk for these conditions. But we've never been able to understand or be able to explore fully what are the factors that are driving what we're seeing. And so this is a kind of different study because most times when we do our surveys, we just, do our questionnaires, do our measurements, and that's it. With a follow-up study, we actually are able to look at people before they've actually developed the conditions that we're interested in studying and begin to see how the factors that are around them result in this increased risk. For chronic diseases, there are so many factors that we have to think about, and this study actually provides an opportunity to explore many of these.
And Joette Mackenzie, what is the approach that is being taken? How are you pursuing this study, this survey?
So we've actually changed from a more face-to-face approach to a telephone or interviewer administered approach by telephone or as well as self-administered questionnaires where we send our participants the link and they actually complete the questionnaire online. We also
And you're doing that in light of COVID-19, correct?
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And under strict COVID-19 protocols, we actually visit our participants in their homes to collect samples such as urine, fingernail clippings, and blood.
And how do you choose who to sample? What are the defining factors or elements?
So for eligibility, our participants have to have been a part of the Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey 3. And we are actually visiting those same communities and we're doing a random selection of different households. But even within the household, our participants must be 30 to 70 years old male and non-pregnant female. This is a permanent resident in Jamaica with no plans to migrate in the next 3 years. They must have a working telephone or email address as well.
I see. So you did mention that this is the JHLS3 project. So how much do we know at this stage, or is it early days yet, Professor Tollereed? If you're at number 3 now, it would suggest that you already have quite a body of work.
Yes, I mean, we've done, as I mentioned, we've done previous surveys which have really shown that the burden of the conditions that we're seeing in Jamaica is increasing quite dramatically. So we're seeing a lot more persons living with diabetes, hypertension, and at risk for these conditions because of changes in their weight. So the studies that we have done so far have shown that over the years, the numbers have been increasing and that these non-communicable diseases are really beginning to produce significant burden on our communities. But the challenge we have with non-communicable diseases is that there are many different things that could be contributing to what we're seeing. And that is one of the reasons why we're trying to undertake this study in this way, because it's not a simple, it's A or B. We know that there is genetics or your biology that may increase your risk, and that's why we are attempting to collect samples from persons that we can understand how those factors influence your risk. And we know that there are things that are in your environment in terms of where you live, the kinds of exposures you have. Sometimes they're physical exposures, maybe things that we see in our air, in the soil. There may be other exposures, maybe stress or other things that people are experiencing which contribute to these factors, as well as lifestyle. People often focus on, what you eat, your activity levels, and how that increases your risk. And then we're doing the measurements to actually be sure that people have these conditions. And so what we hope to put together is just to try and pull all these many different elements that may increase someone's risk of non-communicable diseases to try and understand, okay, what is it? What is it that we should begin to look at? What is it that we should begin to change that can help to reduce, what we're seeing around us? In the latest survey, we're seeing where, 50% of Jamaican women are obese. What is driving that phenomenon? When we do our surveys, we're finding maybe 40% of adults have hypertension. Why is it so high? And that this phenomenon is not unique to Jamaica, because one of the reasons why we're funded from the United States is that they're seeing some of these things in their own settings, where they look and they see that among black persons, African Americans or other migrants in the United States, they seem to have a higher burden of a lot of these conditions. And so there are always questions as to whether it is it because they're in America, are they dealing with other factors, racism, poverty, and so on? Would the risk be the same if they were in their usual setting? And so the ability to compare what is happening in Jamaica with what is happening in the United States can really help us to understand where we should begin to target if we want to prevent some of these chronic diseases and reduce the risk that burden in the population.
So, Joette Mackenzie, as study coordinator for the LIFE project, how how do you plan to relate to the supporting entities overseas that we mentioned, the Fox Chase Cancer Center of Philadelphia and City of Hope in California, and the fact that you're of course getting funding from the National Institutes of Health in the US?
Right. So we have been working very closely with members from these two institutions. At Fox Chase, they actually have a similar study where they're enrolling born blacks, American-born blacks, African immigrants, and Caribbean as well immigrants in a study, and they're collecting similar samples and asking similar questions. And so we intend to compare the results that we garner here in Jamaica with the results that they garner in the US, see if there are any similarities or differences. In terms of the City of Hope Cancer Center, they have actually assisted us in preparing questions that we used to conduct some focus groups. And we did a series of about 8 different focus groups all across the country just to see what were the different strategies or some of the different suggestions.
Sorry, can you tell us some more after the break, please? One moment, listeners. You're hearing from Joette Mackenzie, study coordinator for the LIFE project, and you've also been hearing from Professor Marshall Tollery, director of CARE and co-principal investigator of the LIFE project. More in a moment.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Christmas is a season of celebration, fun, and spreading the love among friends and family. Visit Jack's Master Bakery this Christmas for sumptuous buns, fancy bread, fuller, raisin bread, and cornbread. The management and staff of Jack's Master Bakery would like to wish customers a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Located at 73 Red Hills Road, Kingston 20. Telephone 925-7203. That's 925-7203. Jack's Master Bakery, the professionals of mouth-watering baked products in Jamaica.
Traveling to Jamaica with unaccompanied shipment? The Jamaica Customs Agency is encouraging all air passengers with unaccompanied shipments who have a taxpayer registration number, TRN, to present it to customs upon arrival. This will subsequently facilitate faster processing when clearing your unaccompanied shipments. The Jamaica Customs Agency will continue to implement measures to improve our service delivery and your service experience. You may contact us at 876-922-5140 to 8 or email public.relations@jca.gov.jm on this and other customs-related matters. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Steelcraft Limited offers grills, gates, stainless steel rails, hand trolleys, and much more. The staff takes pleasure in extending season's greetings to all customers, wishing you and your family a peaceful season. And as the new year approaches, they look forward to serving you even more. May the spirit of good cheer and love abide in your home this season with Steelcraft Limited celebrating 50 years. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crossfield from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crossgill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
We don't have no snow. We don't have no sleigh.
Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our guests at this time, Professor Marshall Tullereed, Director of the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CARE, and that's at the UWI Mona. He is also the co-principal investigator of the LIFE project. And the other guest online is Joette McKenzie. She is study coordinator of the LIFE project. And going to the break, Joette McKenzie, you were giving us some insights into what's normally involved, and in particular, based on your partnerships with the overseas-based entities.
Right, thank you, Dervan. So, like I mentioned before, with Foxtech, they're doing a similar study, and so we'll be able to compare our results with theirs. But in terms of the City of Hope, they actually provide communication strategies that we use from time to time to build our resources for our website, which for Jamaican population can go to www.lifeprojectje.com.
All right, I'm just making sure I get it. So that's www. Go ahead. Life Project JA.com. So those of you listening and watching at home and abroad, here is a useful website for you to go to right now to get more information. And if you want to wait until after the interview, please do, so that you'd be better positioned to engage in sort of your own understanding, just getting a better understanding of what these matters are about. So it's lifeprojectja.com. Listeners and viewers all over the world, make a note of it. You can go there now if you'd like. lifeprojectja.com. Right, so sure, go ahead.
A big formal, even though you're so caliber, I'm trying to be polite on the air. So in my polite hat. And the other thing that I should mention is that each of us bring different skills to the project.
Yes.
So Camille Reagan is one of the principal investigators. She's based in prostate cancer center. And she's actually a geneticist. So she's a Jamaican. She migrated, and she's been working with a number of investigators at UWI in Jamaica and right throughout the Caribbean doing cancer research. So her focus has always been on cancer, particularly prostate cancer and head and neck cancer. And so she brings that particular skill, the skills around cancer and also genetics to the mix. And then we are building some of our capacities around, the data management. So one of the things about this project is that we're collecting information on a tablet, and information goes into a secure network where nobody can break in, and the codes and other things are secure. And so that helps us to build out that kind of infrastructure we use for the project. And
Yes.
then Dr. Kiblin Ashing, she's at the City of Hope Cancer Center in California. She's a psychologist. She's very interested in how stress and emotional issues can relate to persons' risks of chronic diseases. And then, of course, within Jamaica, we have persons who do a lot of work in chronic diseases. So in our department, we're doing a lot of work on hypertension, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. And so I think together, when we're working as a team, we're able to bring our different areas of expertise to develop what we think is a useful questionnaire to collect information on things that we think are relevant, that we think are maybe possible targets. So, maybe for treatments that could prevent certain types of cancer or prevent certain chronic diseases, to begin to disentangle sometimes all the many things that can sometimes relate to risk. So, how do we know that it's the food we eat? So in other words, you see a lot of chronic diseases among African Americans, and you might say it's American diet. But if we're able to compare the diet within Jamaicans living in Jamaica with other Jamaicans who are living in the US, then we can begin to say, well, is it really the diet that is resulting in what we're seeing, or is it something else? Is it, the stress that we're under? Is it, where we live, the air, the soil? There are so many things that are around us, the organization of our environment. And then these are really critical things when it comes to addressing what is going on. Because right around the world, we're seeing this increase in cancer and other chronic diseases. And we need to figure out how we can best tackle it. Because, if we don't take action now, these are the conditions that will overwhelm us in the very near future.
How do you ensure, and either or both of you could take on this next question, how do you guard against sort of uh, limiting the survey by virtue of of the areas that you target? In other words, how do you know what are the 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 factors that you're taking into consideration when selecting particular areas? I got the bit about those who were involved in the LIFE project or have been involved in the LIFE project, but in terms of just making sure that you have Jamaica covered from Moran Point to Negril Point. And yes.
Yes. I mean, that's really one of the reasons why we went back to the communities that we had gone to before in the last national survey. Because what we want to do is to build our relationship and to measure a lot of things that are happening in the environment in those areas. So that survey was really intended to be nationally representative. So we do have persons from right across the island. And when we were designing that survey, we were very deliberate because we wanted to not just look at what was happening in Jamaica as a whole, but we wanted to be able to look at things that were happening on a parish by parish level. So within each of the 14 parishes in Jamaica, we made sure that we've identified sufficient numbers of communities and identified sufficient numbers of persons from each community that we can answer questions at a national and also at a parish level around these chronic diseases. So that really set us up very well for doing this project. And of course, one of the things about this project is that it's a follow-up study, and that means that you will have to be going back to find these persons again and ask them maybe some of the other questions that we didn't get a chance to ask the first time we went around, that we'll have a chance to maybe do other measurements, as we get additional funding. So, right from now, this is what we're doing primarily blood and the questionnaire, but maybe, there may be other things we want to look at, maybe things around the heart and heart disease, and we can do other measurements. And I think one of the things that's becoming very, very prevalent now in
Yes.
the questionnaire now. It's very hard. So we really appreciate when people take their time. It may take a couple of hours to complete all the many questions that we're asking. And we're doing it by phone. So it requires a lot more focus and effort on everyone's part. But, over time, we're hoping that by collecting this data and beginning to use it, we can begin to really make a difference to the non-communicable disease epidemic that we're facing now.
Yeah. And Joette Mackenzie, this must be a special group of Jamaicans, a special cohort. I mean, how do you get people to give up their time and their and body, what do you call it, cultures in healthcare? And how do you how willing, how prepared, how willing have people been in participating in this life project?
Well, we do get participants from both ends of the spectrum. There are persons who would be willing to allow us to sit with them in one sitting, one go. There are others who prefer, if we call them, in smaller segments. And of course, there are those who are not able to accommodate us right now. And so we've actually been keeping in touch with them, and hopefully we'll be able to sit with them at a time that's convenient. But in terms of persons have been willing to just allow us to come into their homes and collect samples, they are willing to be a part of something great, and that's what the Jamaican spirit is all about: helping each other and of course giving back to the nation in a great way.
Professor Tollery, this could be an unending journey, or a never-ending journey, because the learning is such that it's continuous, and you might come across some results that are unusual, shocking, common, all kinds of adjectives we could think of. What kind of timeline are you looking at right now in order to to get to a point where you feel that you have achieved certain objectives?
Yeah. Well, I think we have said when we had built this project many years ago, and we were very confident about how quickly we would do things and how quickly we'd be able to collect the data. We had set for ourselves an initial 5-year um, window in which to identify all the participants that were interested in being part of the study, and then also following them up at least once, so doing one check-in with them to see how they were doing and if they had developed any of the conditions that we had in mind. COVID had other plans for us, and so in the last 18 months, we actually have spent a lot of time reworking a lot of the things that we had in mind to get this project off the ground. So I mean, we had to move from normal face-to-face delivery, the sort of mass um, training and other things to go online. And so that has taken us a lot of time. And so one of the things that we're going to be talking about as the year comes to an end is how we can sort of strengthen or for recruitment and encourage people to participate.
Sorry, can you say some more about that after the break, please? One moment, listeners. We're giving you a preview, uh, and even as it is unfolding and being rolled out, of the largest, perhaps one of the largest cohort studies ever done in Jamaica, and it's happening between now and 2023. It's the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CARE, at UWI Mona, in partnership with individuals, institutions, organizations overseas as well. And you're going to hear some more in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now, friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so you don't have to leave home to collect. This holiday season, treat yourself to famous Jamaican jerk dishes at Sweetwood Jerk Joint. Succulent pork, chicken, lamb, served with mouth-watering side orders. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, open every day. Call 876-906-4854 or come to 78 Knoxon Boulevard, New Kingston, in a secured environment across from Emancipation Park. All COVID-19 protocols observed. Merry Christmas from Sweetwood Jerk Joint, the home of Jamaican jerk. Conrad Douglas and Associates and its subsidiary Environmental Science and Technology Limited, the leading environmental management consultancy firm in Jamaica for over 36 years. CDAS Tech operates by their slogan statements: quality service at its best and science and technology for sustainable development. From their families to yours, they wish you all the best for the season. Telephone 876-929-8824 or visit 14 Carmelo Drive, Kingston 10. For every year, every Christmas, Maurice Foster has hosted the #1 Christmas show on radio, Christmas with Foss. This program will be aired once again on Christmas Day, Saturday, December 25, from 2:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Power 106 FM. Foss will play your favorite Christmas songs, accept your greetings, and do giveaways from his bag of goodies. That's Christmas with Foss, brought to you by KFC. KFC's Festive Feast. Enjoy a delicious family 12 bucket from KFC. Alice Duaney, the Electrical People. J&B will help you find a way. Chad Distributors Limited, home of the Maxis Tire, your place to retire. And ICWI, serving you is all we do.
Let's go, studio.
So come one and all.
In Jamaica, the double barrel name Tollereed is synonymous with healthcare, but also synonymous with Calabar High School, as Professor Tollereed hinted at earlier on. And yes, I guess only his sister didn't go to Calabar. She went to Queens. And his mom was was my vice principal at Calabar High School. So I have to be on my best behavior right now. Right, Professor Tollery?
All of us.
Right. So now, listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Both Sides of the Story on Power 106 FM. And we're having an extended interview with Professor Marshall Tollereed, Director of the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CAIR, CAIHR, at UWI Mona. And also on is Joette McKenzie, Study Coordinator of the LIFE Project. And it's a coming together of individuals, institutions, organizations. As we said, CARE at UWI Mona. Then there's an African Caribbean Consortium, and Professor Tollereed listed the individuals and the associated entities. They are they serve where they serve, and it really is about these chronic lifestyle diseases, which we have talked about in this country for a long time, and we have done some work, and more work is obviously being done right now. With the relaunching of the second phase of the largest Jamaican study on chronic diseases, the Living in Full Health Life Project. And going to the break, I think you were saying, Professor Tollereed, that you're looking at possibly making some adjustments as far as your engagement of the general public is concerned. I think that's where you were going when we took the break.
Yes. I mean, this program is actually one of the opportunities that we're using to help get the message out there about this project and to make people familiar with it. Because one of the challenges when strangers come to your kids and ask you to to participate in a study, or you get a phone call and you're saying it's a scammer. You've never heard of anything around the project. It can
Yes.
make it a bit challenging. So we really spend a lot of time thinking around how we can increase our media presence, that people know about the live project and what it's about, and that we can validate ourselves. So, the website, if people want to look at the website, or social media pages are being launched. So that will also help people find out more about the project. But a lot more work is going to be done in the communities themselves that we're actually planning to identify persons from. So we're partnering with leaders in the communities. Um, we've been looking at working with healthcare providers in the communities, with churches in the communities, and persons who have been part of the previous lifestyle studies, so that they're aware of the project, what we're doing, and that they can help to encourage other persons living in these areas to be part of the study. So it's one of the reasons, because sometimes for these studies you could make a decision. It's too hard to go all over the island and try and identify persons. Let's just do everybody from Kingston, and that will be good enough. But one of the things that we're really interested in is how the environment in which people live may be influencing some of the issues that we're seeing around health, including things like cancer, because cancer sometimes are related to the environment. And then when we only focus on people who are living in a specific geographic area, we really don't get a good enough feel for what else to be going on. So if everybody has one thing the same, then we can't tell if that thing were different, whether it would make any difference to what we're seeing. And so going across the island and sort of working through the communities and engaging persons and encouraging them to work with us is really one of the keys that will make a successful project. So that's a little bit about what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
And then you had mentioned something earlier about how long will this project go?
Yes.
And when I was a student many years ago, so I won't call it a date. So when I was studying epidemiology, and we were reading and studying and hearing about all these different studies, follow cohort studies, and how they really transform things around, heart disease and how we, assess things. And I'm saying, when are we ever going to do something like this in the region? So, for instance, as a doctor, when you're seeing your patient and you're saying, okay, you really should get your blood pressure down, or you really should go on a cholesterol tablet, or you really need to work on this particular thing because, it could increase the risk of complications. All of that data is not coming from Jamaica or from the Caribbean. Most of that information is coming from North America and England. And for years, we've been using a lot of those data, even in our care of patients.
True.
Okay, this is, you should get this, but we don't know because, in those settings, they sometimes don't enroll a lot of Black persons, and they certainly don't enroll a lot of Caribbean persons. So we're taking something from some other culture and saying that it should apply to us, but we really are not sure. And so when you mentioned, will we find our answer in 5 years? We'll probably find some answers in 5 years. But one of the great things about this type of study is that it probably won't end with me. I'm sure there are other investigators now and others who are to come who will be able to build on it. So in the US, there's a very famous cohort study that we call the framing of study. That study started in the 1960s and it's still going on today.
What?
It's one of the studies that really changed everybody's beliefs because, for many years people didn't know that high blood pressure was giving you a heart attack. People didn't know that cholesterol was important and they should treat it. And so when all these people were dying, I remember one of the persons that had actually worked with us, he said he was one of the few persons in college when he was going to college whose father was still alive. Because in the post-World War II era, most men were dead by the time they're in their 50s.
Oh no.
That was because all these things, we didn't know about hypertension and what the blood pressure should be. We didn't know about cholesterol and the need to treat it. And so he was, most of them would be having no father by the time they got to college. And he was one of the few. But the things that we're seeing now are because, we've learned from other studies the importance of these things. And I think it's time that we should also take a role in helping to just really refine what is being done. How should we be treated? What should we be aggressive about? What are the things that are important in our setting when it comes to preventing people from developing complications from non-communicable diseases or preventing these non-communicable diseases? And this study really provides an opportunity for that. So we're going all out, looking at various things. As we've gone through the years, there are things that we didn't think were important. So if you spoke to me, maybe, well, I would have understood it 40 years ago, but if you spoke to an investigator 40 years ago, they'd have been talking about high blood pressure and cholesterol as the two most important things. Nowadays, we're talking about stress and emotions. We're talking about your life experiences, trauma as a child, traumatic events, and how they influence what happened to you when you're in your mother's womb in terms of her health and how that influences your health now. In addition to things like our diet and many other things that we can. It's really an exciting time, and we've tried to gather information on a number of areas that we think could be potential sort of game changers when it comes to how we deal with non-communicable diseases in the region.
Thank you, Professor Tollery. Joet Mackenzie, give us the mechanics now. Where are you right now as far as the LIFE project is concerned? And how do you foresee the project taking shape over the next few days, weeks, months? In other words, is there a formula that you're working with, or are you taking on the areas as you encounter certain situations in your engagement with the participants and even potential participants?
All right, thanks for that, Kristen Dervan. So right now we're actually in communities such as Barbican, Burlington Town, Harborview, Swinton, Pembroke Hall, Washington Garden, Patrick, Mandeville Central, because we have several different sites across the country, and so we've been working simultaneously in these different communities. In terms of our formula, we actually do our promotion on the ground. So we mount our posters, of course, we are on the radio, and we are telling our liaisons as well to spread the word, whether through their WhatsApp groups or email lists, and we have been more or less reaching out to different persons through FCC, the churches, and so on, just to spread the word in these communities. And then in January, we've actually pinpointed this to the other communities that we'll be going into. So we'll be going into communities such as Augustown, Rockport, Springfield, Brighton, Swallowfield, Almond Town, Franklin Town, Cedar Grove, Williamsfield, Mandeville, and we've been again sharing our different resources with our contact persons so we can in turn spread the word, and that's how we'll be building out as we go along. So we'll actually be posting on our social media pages the different communities and where we are in different stages, so that persons can look out for us and of course sign up and be a part of the study.
And let's remind our listeners and viewers at home and abroad that the website is lifeprojectja.com. Lifeprojectja.com. Let's come back and wrap. We feel a little guilty. I think we're taking up too much of your time, Professor Tollery and Joet Mackenzie. We'll wrap after this break. One moment.
The rum is still fire. You're listening to Horror 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Christmas is a time for togetherness with friends and family. A lot has changed this year, and despite the fact that Christmas may look a little different and we can't all be together, let's hold on to that Christmas magic. All is still bright. Your friends at the Insurance Company of the West Indies wish you and your family joyful moments and Christmas cheer this holiday season. Click, call, or visit ICWI today. At ICWI, serving you is all we do. Happy holidays! The holiday filled with happiness and cheer, but it can also be a time of danger for road users. Here's a holiday road safety tip from Petrodam Limited in association with the Road Safety Unit.
Don't speed. In the rush to get to a Christmas party or to do your Christmas shopping, you may be tempted to speed. Drive within the speed limit to prevent crashes this holiday season, as speeding tickets and possible collisions are not likely on your holiday wish list. So make this holiday season a safe one for all. A holiday road safety tip from the Road Safety Unit at Petrojam Limited, where safety is our number one priority.
For every year, every Christmas, Maurice Foster has hosted the number one Christmas show on radio, Christmas with Foss. This program will be aired once again on Christmas Day, Saturday, December 25, from 2:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Power 106 FM. Foss will play your favorite Christmas songs, accept your greetings, and do giveaways from his bag of goodies. That's Christmas with Foss, brought to you by KFC. KFC's Festive Feast. Enjoy a delicious family 12 bucket from KFC. Alice Duaney, the Electrical People, Jay and Back will help you find a way. Chad Distributors Limited, home of the Maxis Tire, your place to retire. And ICWI, serving you is all we do.
Every Christmas.
Let's go, studio. Yes, indeed. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And we know we don't have any sleigh or snow in Jamaica. But a lot of fun we do have at this time of year. And we love to eat good Jamaican food, don't we? But we have learned as over time some of the things that are good for us and those that are not good for us, and some of the lifestyle illnesses that that we have to deal with when we, whether unknowingly or knowingly, engaged in certain lifestyle practices. So this is a good time of year, actually, for us to reflect and be mindful of the lifestyle diseases, and some of the risk factors of these diseases: stroke, heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and cancer. And there is a massive study that is underway involving the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CAIHR, CARE for short, at the UWI Mona, as well as an African Caribbean consortium, all engaged in exploring some of the possible causes, effects, etc. And if you want to follow this project, for starters, you can go to lifeprojectja.com, lifeprojectja.com. They're engaging about 8,000 or more Jamaicans on risk for chronic diseases. And they'll be asking for samples, whether biological samples, blood, urine, clips of nails. I didn't even know that you could use, well, anyway. That's why I'm not the doctor here, but it's fascinating the things you can tell about an individual's health through these means. And volunteers should be males and non-pregnant females between the ages of 30 and 70 of a stable address, otherwise known as a fixed address, and unlikely to leave the island within the next 3 years or so. Because remember, it's a long-term study. We know long-term is relative, but you get the picture. It's not a quick snapshot like a poll for an election or something like that. No. And we really have to commend all the participants who are already on board. And we thank Professor Marshall Tollery, Director of Care and Co-Principal Investigator of the LIFE Project, as well as Joette McKenzie for their time this afternoon. Before we wrap, Marshall Tollery, for those who are yet to be convinced, maybe they're skeptics, maybe they feel, boy, we're already dealing with this COVID-19 thing. I don't know if I can manage anything else right now. Why should they care about this study? Why is this study so important? Why should they get involved? Why should they participate? Why should they give up their biological samples?
Well, research has shown that persons who participate in research live longer.
Really? Sign me up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we can appeal to people for in a number of ways. I think
Yes.
it's really a game changer in terms of how it can change the story
Mhm.
for non-communicable diseases, not just in Jamaica, not just in the Caribbean, but globally. So contributing to something which is really a lot bigger than sometimes we initially believe.
Mhm.
So that's one way that we can appeal to you. We also try to share the results of the different investigations that are done with you as soon as they're available. So we actually do some right off. So we're doing blood pressure, blood sugars, cholesterol, and so on. And in a few cases, we've actually been able to identify persons who had conditions that they weren't aware of, that were hypertensive and didn't know, or had diabetes and they didn't recognize what was going on. And so they've benefited from that. So more health awareness, I think that's one of the things that is important. And then we do want to create a community around the
Sorry,
project.
before you go on to the community, technically speaking, participating in this survey could save your life.
It could, it could,
Mhm.
because well, I guess George will tell you about some of our experiences, and we have a nurse that goes out as well when we're doing the measurements and collecting the samples, and you recognize or identify persons who have conditions that they weren't aware of, and then we do try to make our own interventions. We'll put you in touch with your doctor. We'll share the results that are needed to help make a proper assessment. We give advice in a letter that we send to all participants. They're aware of what's going on. And then we do want to create a sense of community among the persons who are part of this project. And so over the course of the year, as we get more persons enrolled, we want to have a number of forums that persons who are participating in can ask questions around different things, around their health or health matters, and meet with experts, not just in Jamaica, because we've also engaged a number of Jamaicans who are living overseas in the US and so on, and they're willing and ready to help us to provide support and other things that need to make this project a success. So, I mean, you can think about it for the world, you can think about it for yourself, you can think about it for the next generation, for persons who are older, because the things that we're learning now are really going to be applied to people's children and grandchildren, over time. And this is really one of the things we think will help to make a difference. So, it's a little tricky now, but we're trying to make this as pain-free as possible and exciting and helpful experience, because we know that people give up their time, give up their resources. Some people don't like giving blood, and yet they're willing to give it, so that we can do some of these things and understand, what's going on. And I think a lot of the things that you're contributing now are really going to be bearing fruits over the course of the year. So I don't know what appeals to people best. I'm not a good marketer, so I'm trying to put all the three things that I think might appeal. To try to give little tokens to recognize people's time and effort. Just as really recognition of the effort that they have put into the project on their part. So we will hope that they will be part of this project and help take it forward.
And since you referenced Joyet a short while ago, Joyet, you've had your own experiences as part of the Life Project. Are there particular nuggets that come to mind in terms of situations or interactions which prove to be eye-opening or otherwise worth pursuing?
Definitely. The one that stands out is this participant that we actually visited, and his blood pressure was sky high, over 200. And
Whoa.
part of our strategy, we don't just come do the measurement and leave. We actually follow up because we want to make sure that our people have better health and they know where to go. So we are able to provide direction and, of course, resources for those needing.
And what's the word for those listening to us? They've heard you, Joet, and they've heard from Marshall Tollereed, and they're thinking, I wonder. So, have you chosen everybody already who you need, or can I get involved? And how can I sign up to be a participant in the Life Project?
So we have not chosen everybody we need. Again, we can visit the website at lifeprojectae.com, or if you want to send a WhatsApp message to 876-825-2774, and we will actually share whether the resource, such as the poster or the brochure, and assess the eligibility for prospective participants. So please look out for our team members as we go through the different communities to be a part of the solution and sign up today.
Well said. And as we wrap, we couldn't have you here, Professor Tollereed, and not ask you for a couple of tips over this Christmas season when a lot of us, if we don't look forward to any other time of the year, we look forward to this time of the year. Those of us who eat ham and we can eat the Christmas cake, otherwise known as black cake or fruit cake, and we can have the sorrel and everything else that comes with Christmas. Uh, we don't want you to be Scrooge, but if you could just share with us a couple of pointers, a couple of things we need to be mindful of, even as we set about enjoying the delicacies of the festive season.
It's interesting that you're asking this question because I won't call the patient's name, but I met somebody whose birthday is today, and she didn't like the diagnosis that I have labeled her with. And so the first question that we had, he said, and you tell me this just before my birthday.
Oh no.
So I said, okay, I'm going to look on the internet and find something that, can give you some tips. So I was prepared for this interview without even knowing.
Yes.
But I think one of the things that I think, of course, is that we shouldn't think about just food as the only reason for this season.
Yes.
One of the things that we must remember, especially this year with COVID and a number of disruptions that have taken place, people out of school, people out of work, people have lost relatives and loved ones that suffered from the pandemic. It's really about life and the ability for us to come together, to meet as we to share, support each other. And I think if we continue to put that as one of the emphases for this season, I think it will have us in good stead. I mean, the food and so on is part of a process of fellowship. And so I think, not focusing so much on what you may not be able to have or what you don't have, but really focus a lot more on what you do have and you do have around you. But apart from that, there's some practical things. Just trying to, if you're going somewhere and you're invited out, if you know that there are certain things that you're not going to be able to participate in, bring something that you can enjoy. That's very helpful. And then we usually have our rule. When you're taking your food, maybe drink water instead of some of the juices and so on. That will help to reduce your sugar intake. With your plate, think about it as half of it vegetables. And remember, dumpling isn't a vegetable.
Hold on. Don't move. One moment. We're really supposed to be wrapping up now, but we have to take the break. Let's take the break and come back.
Importers provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Making lists and buying gifts this Christmas? Don't spend it all. Leave a little to pay your taxes. Avoid the long lines this holiday season. Pay online with easily at jamaicatax.gov.am. Tax Administration Jamaica. Corporate Douglas and Associates and its subsidiary Environmental Science and Technology Limited, the leading environmental management consultancy firm in Jamaica for over 36 years. CDAS Tech operates by their slogan statements, quality service at its best, and science and technology for sustainable development. From their families to yours, they wish you all the best for the season. Telephone 876-929-8824 or visit 14 Carmelo Drive, Kingston 10. The rum is still fine, and so is the wine. So run and come to see and song. It's Christmas Day. No one sleep, you'll never meet at Christmas Day.
Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We've been looking at the Life Project. And remember the website. You can go to the website, lifeprojectja.com. Lifeprojectja.com. It's a collaborative effort. The Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CAIHR, otherwise known as CARE, at the UWI Mona, collaborating with entities in the United States. You heard about them earlier on. There's Professor Kimlin Ashing of City of Hope Cancer Center, Professor Camille Reagan of Fox Chase Cancer Center in the US as well. And they're all members of the African Caribbean Cancer Consortium. So they're involved. The United States National Institutes of Health is supporting the project by a grant, and happy for that support. Professor Marshall Tollery, Director of Care and Co-Principal Investigator of the Life Project, along with Joette McKenzie, Study Coordinator of the Life Project. They've been sharing with us on this edition of Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. So the breaking story coming back from the commercials is that dumpling is not a vegetable. well, well, tell that to Professor John Paul Clark, who I'm sure you're familiar with, who won all the dumpling eating contests at Calabar. But anyway.
Yes. Focusing on about half the state being vegetable. Of course, your starches, your rice, yam, whatever it is, and of course the protein, your meat or meat substitute or fish. So that's a good way of kind of keeping your portions together. Making sure you don't go hungry. A lot of people starve themselves, to eat as much as possible. But if you eat a little before you go, you don't feel as tempted to overindulge in the things that are around you.
But what about, sorry to cut you, but what about those of us who are just tired of the same thing? Chicken done a million ways, the same. So you sort of, all right, what am I going to eat today? Chicken again? Well, I don't know. And then time rolls on, and then when you really get hungry, you just grab something.
Yes, that's really what the challenge is. So try not to go hungry because then your judgment can go. But I know Joy can tell you over a couple of things that different ways Joy is vegetarian.
Oh.
That might.
All right. So we know who is not going to be having dumplings.
I think dumplings are vegetarian. There are different things to think about.
Yes.
You can do the same thing, or we could try something different. So even looking on the internet at different ways of preparing things. Actually, when I was doing this work for the patient, I came across a number of new things that maybe you hadn't thought about doing it that way.
Yes.
That can be quite helpful and also healthy. So there are a lot of options, and I think people sometimes underestimate the resources that they have at hand, even through the internet and other resources that they have. So I found it quite helpful. And then of course, just remember that there's always tomorrow. We have lots of plastic containers. These are the days when we have refrigerators and microwaves. You don't have to eat everything in one day. You can put something down for the next day and have a longer Christmas and the 12 days of Christmas. I think those are just some general things that can be helpful as we try not to overindulge, especially this time of year.
Yes. Well, Well said. So, Joet, some people hearing that you're a vegetarian might be going, that's not so exciting. That's boring. Uh, what would you say to them?
Explore. Like Dr. Reed mentioned just now, the internet is packed. So capacity with different recipes and different ways of trying beans and of course steaming vegetables and so on. So believe you me, there are a lot of dishes to try this Christmas.
Yeah. And so let's do the survey. Let's do a survey right now. Let's ask you the questions. So, on a serious note, though, how does it make you feel? I mean, the fact that you made this conscious decision to change your diet and to go closer to being a vegetarian than otherwise.
It was a great decision for me. Definitely improved my energy. As you can tell, we have a lot of work ahead of us. But even in terms of my health, I think it was definitely a good decision. So
Mhm.
it's great.
Very good. Well done. So, as we wrap, let's get in the contact information again for those who'd like to connect with the Life Project. Go ahead with those contact details, please, Joette.
Sure. So visit our website at www.lifeprojectae.com. You can also WhatsApp us at 876-825-2774.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Professor Marshall Tollereed, it's been a pleasure as well. Thank you very much for all the work that you continue to do. What would be a good time to check back in with you and Joyet and perhaps any other member of the team for that matter? We don't want to crowd you while you're working, so to speak. We want to give you room. But
You can check back with us as often as you'd like to keep us on our toes.
okay.
But our next big
Be
push is
careful what you ask for, though, because you just might get it.
our next big push is going to be over the next quarter to try and drive our recruitment. So I'm hoping that maybe by the summer we could maybe reconnect and talk about where we are with the project at that point.
Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you both very much, and all the very best for the rest of the season and beyond. And may we all look forward to a safer and a less COVID-19 friendly environment. Yes. Thanks.
So yes, last time we were looking at each other when we were doing the interview.
Yes.
Yes, I'll talk to the phone again.
So it is. So it is.
Talking to the phone again next time.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. In the meantime, though, let's continue to give thanks and just do the best we can while we can and help those we can while we can. And remember the reason for the season. Thank you so much. All the best. Good. Take care. That's Professor Marshall Tollereed, Director of the Caribbean Institute for Health Research, CARE, at the UWI Mona, also